The trailer's audio sounds distorted for some reason. Well, that could just be your internet or whatever. In any case, welcome to episode 15, and we have our lovely fighter cleric Aurora providing us with episode 14's recap. Over to you.
Yeah. Um, in a world where we ascend from mines filled with undead and zombie plant creatures, we, the party, come to the top of the elevator of the iron mines of Gerst to find one of the guards that had taken us to this place, stating that all is lost, that our fortunes are dire, and that we took far too long to slay the monsters within the mine. He tells us of our ill-gotten fate and warns us of forces outside beyond our control here to correct their mistakes and their idleness. The party debates them with themselves, and with a bit of pre-planning, Karek, already turned into a rat, sneaks up Aurora's leg and hides there until we exit the mine. We are given over to our weapons and head back into the light, the hot, horrible sun of Epsilon, to reveal a scenario where the Templars of the city of Gerst have seized the first level of the mine and have taken the guards that escorted us here in chains to a bit of a public tribunal. The leaders of these Templars, a red tiefling called Lord Tithian, makes a public display of how he will not accept the idle weakness of these guards and how their inability has shamed both Gerst and King Kalik. Their protests are met with a iron fist as one of them is killed for their failures, and we are brought before this iron will of resolve that is Lord Tithian. It is explained that he is the leader of the Templars, that he is the right hand of King Kalik, and with him is his own right hand, Doreen, and Alabaster, Aurora's former commander. In a bit of a kind of investigation / interrogation / good job, but you're still slaves, Tithian extracts information from the party that helps us and him define what happened in the mines. When Doreen is in this scenario, it is explained that there were undead by Aurora. That in the mines, Doreen quickly defends her own position, saying that there are only beasts and bugs, showing that there are potentially cracks in the communication systems of the Templars in what Lord Tithian is receiving versus the rest of the Order. For all intents and purposes, after the investigation and / interrogation, the party is grouped together, left alone for the time being to discuss among themselves, as Tithian investigates the children that we had rescued from the mines. And they end up taking Ida, due to her obvious corruption, back to the city of Gerst and directly to King Kalik. The rest are left at the mines, and they are grouped together, interrogated for a little bit more, but ultimately left on their own. It's about this time that Doreen is ordered to retake the mines, and Alabaster comes over to put us back in chains and make sure that we don't go anywhere. There is a bit of a performance between Aurora and Alabaster as they struggle about the chains. Alabaster actually puts in a secret missive into Aurora's mouth to hold on to for later, in a fisticuffs fight in which Aurora pays Alabaster back a little bit by attempting to break his nose, but is not successful. After that, the Templars begin to retake the mine. A series of waves that's forced to send in as they struggle to, not in the inability to do so, but definitely more than they originally expected, to seize the mine level by level. This process is managed by Doreen, who uses the bureaucracy to prevent Tithian from knowing necessarily all the specifics of what's going on. During this conversation that they're having, the party is grouped up. We begin to talk about, what our objectives are, our situation, and how we're going to get out. It is at this point that Harik sneaks off through the rest of the mine. He is able to ascend the iron slopes and is able to get out. He is able to maintain a observant eye from the cliffs nearby, where he's able to keep a watch on us, and he himself is no longer, at least currently, shackled by slavery. There is some tongue-in-cheek conversation with Nisa about her interest in other men, which no doubt brings shame and glory to Mag. And we are able, shortly after, to discover the depths of the corruption that also affect Lokar and Nisa. Nisa has an inability to rest as easily as everybody else, and she seems to have an infection on her back. Lokar's eyes are their own mystery, but he seems utterly incapable of seeing in the light. After that, Mag shares his rune knowledge. We are able to pull out the missive and discuss it. The missive itself is extremely well coded. There are layers and layers of secrets that are in it. Aurora shares it around, and the immediate interpretation of the party is that, Aurora is alone, that there is, her dad's an asshole, and everything that they were trying to explain to her before is true, that she is no longer welcome in the city of Gurst, if she was ever welcome in the city of Gurst. There is more to that, as Aurora suspects, and the missive is placed in the handy haversack. And as the Templars continue to seize the mine, Doreen receives communication from her men that there is something unique deeper in the mine, something that they have not been able to control or to take down. This is sent up the chain to Tithian. Doreen shows the flame of ambition, says that we can take it. Tithian, annoyed but accepting of his subordinate's actions, agrees. And Doreen sends pretty much the rest of the Templars that are there to seize whatever this unknown quantity is and take it back to King Calic alive. Shortly after, the handful of remaining Templars and Tithian escort us back to the city of Gurst. There is a measure of respect from the guards, at least a curiosity, as they are mildly surprised that, we have taken down a Queen Akheg, I believe is the monster.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Akheg. Not so much, that they truly think that we're great or awesome, but they do have a respect for us, not necessarily wanting to ruin King Calic's perfect property. We are taken back to the city of Gurst. It is about nightfall. At a certain point, Tithian separates from the remaining guards and goes to his own duties. Karik, who is currently in the shape of a dog, follows him. And just a handful of minutes later, as we are bounding the corner to reveal the slave pens and the brickyards beyond, Nisa finally lets her instincts take over. She misty steps onto a nearby roof and is held person. And as she begins to stumble off the edge of the roof onto the ground below, that is where we begin our session.
That is indeed, and you may take your delicious inspiration for such a detailed recap.
I'll hold on to this forever.
Okay.
Uses it immediately.
He said it.
Earth brave.
Okay. Pulling you back. Where's my freaking? There it is.
It's a doggy.
The doggo.
Yeah, it's mangy dog now. So it looks like this, yeah. And his fur is like opalescent, like Karik shell. Went through this.
Still using the
with
master
the-
stats though, right?
That's like,
Yeah. It's master.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, there is a doggo stealthy mission happening. I'm assuming that you wish to remain unseen, Mr. Doggo.
Yeah, I don't really care so much if he sees me. I'm just a dog, you know. I'm just making sure I seem like a dog and I'm not paying attention to him.
Okay, then just do a performance roll for me as something that you've been doing as you've been tracking him. You do notice that he is looking over his shoulder, and he's genuinely cautious at this point. Entering into Gerst and leading the slaved group, he wasn't. But the moment he broke off from the group and headed northwestward, you notice that he started like being a bit more cautious about people following him, or is he alone?
Mm-hmm.
And your performance is, passable for being a pupper. You end up sniffing some corners, generally trying to be a dog as best as you can. And given he's not looking for dogs, he's looking for people, you feel like, even though he might have caught sight of you, it's less of a concern for him and he doesn't pay you much attention. Mangy dogs in Gerst. Now, we have a split party situation that we need to resolve. And for the purposes of how this will go down, they will not happen at the same time necessarily. What the party are doing is not going to be in direct parallel on time frame to you as a doggo, and vice versa, right? So there's a bit of a time distortion here as we have to go back in time and forward in time, okay?
Right.
So let us first resolve that of the party and Nissa falling. And to recap the scene, collectively, sans Karik, you have been escorted down the inside wall of Gerst back to where you know you are being led to. You are within the Noble District area where the buildings are much nicer and taller, and people are more sparse. However, it is the end of the day. It's not nightfall or twilight. It's more coming to sunset, and the temperature of the day has lessened. In comparison to when you were first taken, the Noble District that you have been walking through has come alive a bit more. And you see well-dressed, noble Gerstians in their finer colored silks and linens that are leaving their homes to go do what they need to do as nobles without the heat of the day making them sweat. So whilst it is not hustle and bustle, it is certainly people around. And Lokar, you were on the lookout for an exit, to find a route that perhaps could save you, a way to perhaps save the party. And as you reach nearing the end of the Noble District, your desperation starts to seep in, as does it all for all of you. seeing the Templar rows of houses, the Templar guard houses, as well as the ogre houses that frame that of the slave pits, and the changing of not necessarily the soil color, but the use of the soil, and the ending of the noble districts. Your hearts collectively begin to beat as you know where you're headed. And Nissa, you take that opportunity, say, well, fuck this, and you bamf to a nearby single-story building, but are immediately withheld. And with the hope in your eyes to run along those roofs, you feel that effect hold you in place, and you begin to tumble backwards off the roof. And you are about 20 feet away from the rest of the party. Immediately, the guards, with the Templar catching you in the hold person spell, the rest of the guards sort of like stutter step, and they look towards where you've gone and what just happened, and the chains sort of ring for a second. Does anyone want to do anything?
First of all, I think what you can see is that Loka was really in his head trying to figure out how to get out of this, and I think that is the reason why he wasn't reacting fast enough to Nissa teleporting. And I think you can see that there's immediately this like push of his whole body, like kind of starting to like he kind of get active suddenly as he realizes it just a moment too late, and already notices like all the guards like getting into position and moving forward. And there's definitely a moment where you can see like this realization that he was too slow, and this frustration under his like it's like kind of grits his teeth. Yeah, he thinks for a second. It seems like he's like falling right now. And what do it look like the guards are doing?
Collectively, they're all reacting in the moment that Nissa's body more or less freezes up while teetering on the edge of that rooftop.
Yeah, maybe they're also like looking for us, like kind of don't want us to run away.
Yeah, you can see like their bodies are tense. They're looking to each other back and forth, and you are led by a Templar as well at the front. So they are looking towards the Templar for guidance as he holds this hold person spell.
Yeah. I mean, I think he at that moment, maybe it's out of pure frustration. I think he will try to like get himself free of the chains. At least try to just kind of muscle through this kind of desperation and frustration kind of mounting, and he can't really keep himself like contained as much as he wants to.
Okay.
So I think it's the
roll-
first thing he would try.
Roll a strength check. Fortunately, this isn't an athletics thing. You're trying to roll break.
I mean, let's see.
Oh boy.
It's funny.
You grab the chains and you like twist them a little bit, and you crack the chains within your hands.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I'll just, I think maybe that's like, I think enough of a surprise for the guards. They probably didn't expect that sudden, and he is just going to like, try and go to catch Nissa, I think.
Okay.
I guess, yes, key point, disengage. Just in case.
Well, keep it. And you
Don't hit
go
me.
to rush over to catch Nissa, or you... There's nothing more other than that's your action that you wish to perform?
I think it's just after that maybe, like right now it's just a bunch of instinct and frustration kind of mounting, and he can't. Usually he would love to Be more disciplined or say something. But yeah, he's just.
Okay.
Just
Yeah, there is this, like, for the rest of the party, there is this almighty crack of iron chain links, and in a blink of an eye, Lokar dashes over to the point of where Nissa is falling. There are two guards that react to this and say, "The big one's free!" And the Templar in his helmed, like his steel helm, looks towards where you are. And his hand is out, holding the hold person spell, and he shouts towards the two guards that have reacted, "Don't let him get away!" And then he looks to the other two guards that are holding the other chains and says, "Keep the other slaves firm." And he's going to take out his warhammer, and he's going to also converge with the other two guards on you, Lokar.
So this is probably where me and Olex had our plan. But as soon as he breaks free and starts running, they bark orders. I was going to take my part of the chain and wrap it like around Olex's head, or Mag's head, and drag him onto the ground and start yelling that, "You will not embarrass me in front of King Kalik! I will not be seen as a traitor!" And as he's on the ground, he was going to try and use like Mage Hand to help like distract or like make the guards trip if he could.
Make the guards trip on a Mage Hand?
He was gonna like try and tie two shoelaces. This is Olex game, so
They don't have shoelaces, unfortunately. These are just like regular boots. Sorry.
Finger guns.
Shoelaces are a Western thing.
Undo their pants, pants them, tie their shoelaces, make their swords drop, undo like their potions off their belts, things like that.
I mean, undoing the belt could be interesting.
It is.
I will let you interpret how much dad energy is allowed right there.
Unlace their breeches.
They will have like white underwear on with like little red hearts.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky with Mage Hand because you have to like be able to see it and be able to attach it. There is an outside.
I'm not blocking his vision.
No, okay.
Yeah,
So roll your performance to make a distraction. You still have two guards on you too, but let's see, just like how convicted. What's the sound of your conviction as you play, non-traitor, play loyalist. Okay,
I'll
okay.
re-roll that with that inspiration.
Oh dang! Okay.
Yeah, we'll take that 10 though.
Okay.
I can add a superiority die to it. So that's a d6.
You can pretty much see, like, as you do that, like, these guards are almost see kind of straight through that.
Oh my
like-
god.
We've got these two, and the Templar rushes towards you, Lokar. The guards holding Magrim and Aurora, your chains are held tight now, as they saw through your attempt to pretend, and you have a Templar. And, hold on, where's my music? I had music.
Yeah, try it. Right, that's the music.
What's up with that? This one.
Is it around the time, like, can I catch Nisa now, or?
Yeah, you with your movement speed, you can certainly be right underneath Nissa. And she will not receive the full damage that she would have received. So you can certainly stand there and catch her.
I think it's kind of this thing. I don't know if the guards really care for it, but you can certainly see that he realizes that he's not quick enough right now. He hasn't reacted fast enough. The guards are like right behind him, right next to him, and his brain kind of reactivates from this full of frustration, and he kind of stops his momentum. Like, normally he probably would like jump, get her, and like keep running, right? If he really wanted to escape, but you can see just his sudden like complete stop, and just like him readying to catch her, and kind of like just looking over to the guards, like, kind of. I don't know. I don't know if it seems reasonable for them, but I think it looks like he just stops and wanting to catch her and just give the guards a look real quick.
Sure.
Maybe he says, yeah. I don't think he says anything. I think he just.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in a blink of an eye, it's a crack, a dash, a stand underneath, and almost like turning back towards the guards. You stare at them dead-eye as you catch Nissa in your arms, a paralyzed, held Nissa. Nissa, you obviously feel this. You feel the very strong arms of Lokar catch your small frame. Yeah, the next thing that you see out of the corner of your eyes are two guards with spears and one Templar with a warhammer, basically surround, in a sense, from three directions, pointing their weapons at them and say, "Stand still. Don't make us."
Just wanted to catch her.
She's gonna go, well, I am as still as can be.
And then there's like a little bit of a standoff, but as it seems that you're standing still and there isn't anything more you in terms of wanting to do, the Templar releases the hold person spell on Nissa and barks an order at the guard to say, "Rechain them. We're almost there." And another set of manacles will come out, and one of the guards comes closer to you, cautiously, whilst they still hold the spear and the warhammer from the other two directions.
You can shame me if you want, but you've seen it doesn't really matter to me.
Roll
I'm
an
intent of
intimidation, please.
Oh,
Can I physically intimidate them or just charismatically intimidate them?
I
Flex your
mean,
muscle in this instance. I mean, it depends on
this
what you think the
instance?
guards could be. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
depends on if
you
the
are
guards can be physically
intimidating.
intimidated or not.
You are. Yeah, I mean,
Flex your pecs at them and they'll
Uh,
piss their pants.
if you can describe how you physically intimidate them, I'll allow it.
I think he kind of does the flex he did to break the chains again, kind of symbolizing what he just did. Yeah, and kind of you can just see like a little bit this with the flex kind of after like he kind of showed them what he just did. Yep, in order to make sure how strong he is.
Just a flex.
Yeah, kind of, and the movement to like break the chain.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you do
dang.
it by because it's such a slight thing, your
fine,
words
I
will
can
hold
roll
more
with
weight
charisma.
if it's yeah. Roll
maybe
with charisma.
step into their space as well.
It's 14.
You say that, and you can see that this guard who is approaching you with the manacles, he's kind of a little bit shaky in his arms. So when you say that, he looks towards his Templar and says, "You sure, boss?" And the Templar says, "Get on with it. We have a moment to lose. We must get the slaves back before nightfall. It is our duty to Gallic." And even though he is somewhat afraid, his superior gives him the strength to get closer to you and begins to put the manacles over your and Nissa's wrists as you're chained together. You can also hear, as he's doing this, as the last sort of cuff clicks into place, you hear him say to you, Lokar says, "Not surprised. After what I saw in the arena the other day. Pretty great, man. Hope to see more of that." And he does it in like a sort of subtle tone. And he steps back with his spear and says, Prisoners resecured, sir. And the Templar motions and gestures to like, get back in line. We'll deal with the purple one later.
God, tell me. I'm not purple.
I think Lokar is like still too frustrated, and in his mind, like he noticed that, but he can't really like take it affirmation right now. Just frustrated.
Yeah.
And he goes back in line.
As
Yeah,
you,
can Nisa just go? She will quickly whisper to Lokar a quick thanks for the catch. 'Cause if you hadn't been there, I don't know how I would have ended up, considering the thing on my back.
okay.
I'm sorry. Was slow.
Did you
Got it.
hear me?
Yeah, we
I-
heard you.
I did.
Oh, that was Lokar. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? You're not. You don't have to be sorry.
I think he is just is a bit silent, and he just says, "Let's do this later." As he kind of sees like a bunch of guards like moving around us.
Yeah, she just nods.
Okay. You are collectively put back into the chain gang, and you are led out of the noble district and into the brickyards area. And your hearts sink a little as you are returned to your now open air accommodation. And we will deal with that in a hot second as we go to, change scene to Doggo. Doggo time.
Bark, bark.
Bork bork. So, Karik,
Mm-hmm.
you are walking down the road that separates the caravan district, which is filled with shops and merchants and spice trade and apothecaries, butchers, things like that. It is the end of the day, and the nobles are coming out of the noble district ready to do their shopping. It is also a time when other sort of small critters are around, and you are certainly not alone down this street. The movement of back and forth of people gives you a little bit of a distraction in terms of trying to follow Tithian. However, you are a doggo, so I'd like you to roll survival for me with advantage, as Tithian takes a left turn, and you need to follow. It is good, and we will say that Tithian takes that turn, and you successfully track his scent down through the alleyways of the noble district. Tithian himself makes a few turns here and there, but with your scent and senses tingling, you successfully manage to track Tithian to here. And rounding the corners, you can see that he enters a house. It's a 2-story house crafted in sun-baked clay bricks, adorned with elaborate carvings depicting scenes of Callus's conquest. There are tall, narrow windows which are framed by arches and carved sandstone. And the windows are shielded by latticed screens made from dark, rich wood, which is quite typical for other buildings here in the noble districts, as they are used to cool any breezes that flow through these alleyways and keeping out the baking heat of Epsilon.
Mhm.
He takes he steps up the 3 polished sandstone steps, and he looks around for a hot second to see if there's anyone following him. And you, as a mangy doggo,
Mhm.
do not qualify for what he's looking for.
Yeah, I'm just like peeing on the corner of a building.
Cool. And Tithian knocks on the door, and it's like a few, three thumps. Not aggressive or anything like that, but loud enough for his strength and station. And a few moments later, the large door opens, kind of away from you, so you don't see who's opened the door, and
Right.
he walks through. And the door closes.
Okay. Well, that's something. I have a location that I also want to go to now.
Well, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Is this smell or hearing based? Because I get advantage
It's
on
a it's a sight
doggo.
thing. It's a sight
Okay.
thing. It depends on how close you get. 12 is enough. It's still like daylight. It's not like bad light or anything. You can see that the entrance is marked by a pair of massive dark wood and iron-bound doors with lattice screens on each of the doors. And it's hard to make out at this distance, but there's detail on those lattices, as is kind of symbolic with other houses around you. You look at the closest house to you and their entrance, and there is sigils of like family crests on the doors. You can't see what's the ones that he's just gone into, but the one you can see is closest to you.
I'm gonna try to get a little bit closer, see if I can see what the crest is.
Oh yeah, okay. Do you want to do so sneaky?
Yes.
Okay, it's time for sneaky doggo. You go down on your haunches. Roll stealth.
And this is gonna be what the doggo does.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put that up here.
Pupper stealth.
I mean, it's your wisdom, but it's if he has bonuses to stealth, you can use it.
Yeah.
Why is it his wisdom?
Wait, I'm stupid. Yes,
It's his dexterity.
don't look at me. I'm
Stealth
tired.
is
I'm tired.
dexterity.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Forget what I said.
Right,
Use
let's
dexterity
do-
of your doggo.
let's do-
Okay. You feel like you're being a stealthy doggo as you get ever closer to the building. And at that point, with the light, it's easy enough to see that the sigil of this on the door, the lattice work of these doors makes up a symbol, that of 3 serpents rising from a bottom of a circle in parallel that come to a center point in the center of a circle of 12 stars. You also see that on this door, the lattice work, to retain privacy through the doors, there is a very thin, delicate parchment layer between the lattice screens. As you get closer enough to see this, and you put your paw on the polished sandstones, they're expertly crafted and smooth to the touch.
So it's like paper windows, kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. Can I hear any conversation going on inside?
Do you want to get closer?
Sure.
Okay.
Step up on the steps and act like I'm sniffing around, but I'm actually listening.
Okay. As you get closer, there is a point in the door that is there's a hole in the paper
Mm-hmm.
that you could look through.
Hmm. I'll give it a peek.
Okay.
Ooh. Fancy.
Didn't think I had prepared interiors, did you? Look at the little doggo peering through the hole there.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Your nose wiggles as you like look through it. Okay, so
Mhm.
looking through the lattice work, you can make out a large receiving room mixed with tradition and opulence. The floors are exposed, polished sandstone that have been maintained well and clear from sand and dust. The walls are lined with rich, intricate carvings and lit with candles in golden candelabras. In the center of the room is a large, heavy marble table with carvings clearly not that from Epsilon. In fact, your turtle brain tries to rack, whether or not you have seen such artwork ever, even within your time in Epsilon, and nothing comes to mind. Standing on the top of the table, like on its surface, is a single golden bust statue. And from your doggo position, it is not clear of the details as it's sort of turned away from you, but you can make out that it is female. And Tithian stands alone next to the table in the empty room, patiently waiting. A few moments later, a door at the far end of the receiving room opens, and through it, a tall, slender female elf walks through. She is considerably older. With long, ethereal-like white hair and wearing a flowing, pale blue and immaculately clean dress. Let's put it here. She walks with poise, elegance, and, despite her obvious age, strength. And she glides over to Tithian with a soft smile on her face and her hand outstretched. Ah, Tithian, my dear boy, I trust this day treats you well. How is the mountains? Tithian responds with a small bow as he takes her hand in greeting. I am well, sister. The heat has not been too debilitating this day. The mountains, however, yielded a different sort of feeling. The elf thinks for a second, dropping the greeting, and moves to the other side of the table. What? Was it as we expected? The elf says. Despite Doreen's attempt to subvert the truth, it is as you expected. As is above, is below. One had hoped it was a single origin, but apparently... that was a foolish hope. Iririan, there was... how do I put this? An anomaly. A handful of slaves walked out of the mines. They seemed somewhat intact, despite your theories. That is indeed strange. Based on our current understandings, that is not something that has been endured by many. Do you anticipate subversion? I doubt it, sister. They seemed oblivious. Perhaps they have some form of protection. Maybe as far as the upper planes, but who can say at this time? Anyone else would definitely succumb to it. Is that possible, sister? Ever since the gloom, you have consistently held the idea that this world is under attack from an infernal origin, and further to that, the upper planes were losing their influence. I do not know, but I shall do what I can. I must return to the monastery library. It has become increasingly difficult to access it now. The Black Sisters have begun their hunt. I shall tell you if something comes up. Now, on to other matters. What news of the plan? Have the Alliance managed to put their people in place and understand their purpose? I believe so, Iririan. I have managed to get the artifact into the hands of our man amongst the gladiators. Good, then all we must do is wait and pray we are not discovered by Kelek. The future depends on it. Is there anything more I can do for you, sister? Stay close to Kelek, child. Distract him. Keep him focused on anything else. It won't be long now. As for those slaves, perhaps they could prove useful if they are indeed blessed by the plains. Tithian stands to attention and does a small bow. Very well. I will take my leave. Safe travels back, sister. Be safe, Tithian. I know not when I will see you next, but know that I will be thinking of you. Iverian gives Tithian a gentle hug as she exits and pats him on the cheek softly and heads back through the door in the back of the room. Alone in the room, Tithian pulls from his belt a short piece of fine copper wire and begins to cast a spell. You hear the words echoing through the receiving chamber. Lord, all is resolved at the mines. The games will benefit from a new spectacle. Meet me at the pens to encourage the next step. And Tithian waits for a moment, nods, and you can see that his posture switches to turn towards the door and begins walking. Okay.
I'm out.
You're out? Okay, where are you out to?
I'm out. I don't know, just off the porch, off the steps.
Off the steps?
I don't want to be right there.
Okay, you have a choice to make.
Play dead.
You have a choice to make. Where are you going? Tithian is coming to the door. You can move your token just so I know where you're going.
I'm just gonna run back out around this corner, kind of, and
Mhm.
then I'm gonna try to follow him somewhere and see where else he goes.
Okay.
No.
He is gonna exit through...
Actually,
Uh-huh.
how long has it been, do I think, since I entered the city? Because I wild shaped right before I entered the
It's
gate.
about half an hour.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep following for a little bit.
Okay, he's gonna exit and look around the door, look out the door to see if there's anyone that he can see, and he is going to go down the 3 stairs, and he's going to head this way, up this alley, and he is heading. Well, he's currently out of view at this point.
Yeah, I'll try to follow at a distance.
Oh, interesting. Okay. He's gonna, he's around. In fact, what I'll do is I will GM layer him as you try and follow him. So roll me another survival.
Advantage again, or no?
Yeah, it's by scent. Yep.
Okay.
You stick your doggo nose up into the air. Okay, 19. Yeah.
Ooh.
At least someone's rolling high. And you
Why would you say that?
Ivirian.
Iverian, yeah. Iverian. I see.
Iririan.
Ivirian. Okay.
Aurora and Irian.
As you turn this corner, I have mentioned that the nobles are out and about, and who you see as you turn this corner is someone that you don't recognize. Obviously, it is a young mother and a small child, a girl, a daughter, walking hand in hand. They are wearing simple colored linen robes and sandals. Her hair is like a sort of wavy black hair that goes down to her shoulders that seems to be well manicured and healthy. And the girl's her skin is kind of like that of a tanned half elven skin. And that denotes more of like a wood elven sort of lineage as opposed to a high elven. And the girl that is with her has obviously the similar traits to her mother, recognizing her as her daughter. And it's the girl that stops and points and says, "Mummy, doggy!" And the girl, her face lights up and says, "Mummy, doggy, looky, mummy." And the mother sort of holds her hand a little tighter and says, "Oh, I don't know, Lorna. Is she, a happy, friendly doggy, do you think?" And the child goes, friendly doggo." And begins to drag her mother towards you.
I'm gonna wag my tail and sit.
Oh, cool.
Do I see Tithian when I turn the corner at all?
You don't. You can smell.
Okay.
You can smell him though, even though his smell is going a little bit dispersed in the air. That he took a left from where you're looking up. You're looking northwest, and he took a left.
Okay.
Gotcha. At least his smell is dispersing. So maybe finding him afterwards, if you spend too much time here, it'll be harder to track. Nevertheless,
Right.
you sit your butt on the sand and you wag your tail. And the little girl, Lorna, she sort of says, looky, happy doggy, mommy. And she tears her hand out of her mother's hand. And she's going to go and try and pet you.
I'll let her.
Okay. So the little girl, Lorna, starts like giving you pats, and you know, like she's about a 6-year-old, and you know how like children kind of don't really know how to pat properly. Dogs, they sort of like do kind of
Yeah.
forceful thumps as opposed to strokes.
Oh no.
She's like, friendly
Please
doggy,
don't.
friendly doggy, friendly doggy, friendly doggy, and the mother is saying, Lorna, he looks quite filthy. Maybe we should leave him alone. He goes, no, mommy, we keep mommy, right? We can keep him. Daddy won't be so afraid, right? We can keep him. Maybe we clean him. And the mother's like, oh, I don't know, Lorna, we have 2 already. Mommy, new doggy. Look, doggy blue. And the mother like gives like a weird squint over to you, and it's like, he's blue? And she's gonna come over to do an investigation. So like, why? Is
Yep,
he
I'm just
blue?
gonna lick the girl's hand and then take off where I smelled Tithian.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So she's kind of like holding on to you a little bit. You want to try and like playfully get away and not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's like, we keep him and we give him treats. We have food. And by that time, you're like ruff, and you like bound around playfully, and she starts laughing, goes, yay, we keep third doggo. And before she like can reach out to you again, you bound away, and as you like attempt to follow and disappear around the corner, it's but a moment later that you hear echoing around the noble alleyways the crying of a 6-year-old girl.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. So, Doggo.
Side quest. I abandon the party and go be a pet.
I know, right? Noble dog.
Honestly,
Better than the sloth
I
pin.
wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
Considering the alternative,
Sorry, guys, you're on your own. I found a
I
better
mean,
life.
you get
Snacks,
food,
you
you get food, you get affirmation. Like,
Hang on, did you say treats?
did you say
yeah.
treats?
You get belly rubs.
Oh heck yeah, belly rubs. Play with
Convert all your resources into more wild shape charges.
Mhm.
You're a dog forever.
You disappear
Hold on, I can catch a
occasionally.
break.
Yeah.
Huh?
Every 2 hours, I disappear for an hour.
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Karek's story ends here. Okay, so you spent a little bit of time in Tithian kind of got away from you for a bit, but you stick your snoot out here, and your scent kind of heads towards the northeast. And you can see Tithian is a little bit further away from you. Where's my tokens? There. So there now. And he's kind of like in the distance. There's quite a lot of foot traffic at this point. So it's a question of what do you do. You can see at this point also that your friends, with a clear line of sight through the brickyard from your alleyway position, your friends are kind of being processed outside the slave pits.
I'm gonna look back over towards Tithian. Does he still look like he's super sketched out and like paranoid like he was before, or has he chilled out and he's just kind of walking with purpose now?
It looks like he's walking with purposeful direction, and he
Okay.
keeps looking towards the ziggurat, but
Not so much over the shoulder.
not so
before?
much over the shoulder. It's more like he's on a mission to get somewhere.
Gotcha. I'm gonna let him go because I don't think he's gonna go any more sketchy places like he did the first time. I can see them over there at the entrance to the pens.
Mm.
I'm gonna do a couple of really loud barks to see if I can get any of the party to look in my direction.
Okay. It's quite a ways away. Oh, this is not set to the right.
That's not
Probably
scale.
23 feet.
Yeah, it's
Um,
only 22 feet. No.
Each house is a feed wine.
It's more like 300 to 400 feet away, I think. Maybe even 500
like-
feet. It's quite a ways.
Surely I'll roll
Go
higher
along.
than a 9. I can do it.
You can
Go
certainly.
along with
There is a chance. It's like. Sorry, where are you going?
I was gonna say I like get a little bit closer along the edge of these like bricks and then whatever these little small buildings are here, just to get a little bit
These
closer.
are like
I'll be-
tents. So like they are smaller tents for guards on duty. They are like a shelter tents.
Gotcha. Screw it. I'll just run across the middle of the brickyards. I'm a dog. They're not gonna think anything about it. I'll just run across the middle of the brickyards
Okay.
and bark to try to get their attention.
Right. Okay. So the along the brickyards around this area, like there is like somewhat heavy foot traffic around here with the nobles out and about in their evening stroll, as well as guards and Templars doing estimation works. There are still like some slaves that haven't performed well that day that are still getting whipped, doing their tasks on the ziggurat. But okay, let's see. What can we do here? Let's see. If you must roll another sort of. It's not a performance because it's like you're just being a doggo.
Right.
But what are you trying to convey? Just like, hey, look at me, or
I mean, I've seen the dog before.
you have.
Right.
So
I
it would be
I-
weird to see it again. Like already, like the interaction the first time was weird. So maybe if you get my attention again, then I would like realize.
Yeah, that's the main thing is that I just want them to. I'm just wanting at least one of them to see me and hope that they'll put two and two together. That
Okay.
I know that they're there.
Okay, everyone in the chain gang, please roll a perception check as the doggo. I don't think you necessarily need to get out that far into the exposed area, so you can probably go there, more or less. You don't have to run through the entire brickyards. Oh, freaking hell. Look, Lokar, yeah, just like immediately, like, and Nissa as well.
Ooh.
I'll roll for Mag.
Was full alert mode.
For sure, Lokar and Nissa, you sort of pick up on it immediately because the bark, whilst you can bark as a dog, it kind of sounds odd as a bark. You've never really barked before. So it's kind
Right.
of like squeaky a little bit.
Yeah.
As
The
if
dog has the ability to bark, but I don't know how to make that happen.
Yeah. It's kind of like, excuse me, Arf. No.
Yeah.
But it is enough for like Logot, who's on his own personal vendetta for like looking out for any possible exits, and he turns his head over towards you, and in the dying light, it's not bright. His sensitivity to daylight is sort of recovering at this point, and he can see you clearly amidst the growing not twilight, but the growing sunset.
hmm
And you can
Once
see
I
that.
see them,
Mhm.
once I see them like actively looking at me, I'm gonna like another couple of barks to try to acknowledge and like scratch the ground a little bit, just like I see you guys.
I'm thinking about those dogs that like when they bark, like, when they sound like they're saying hello.
Yeah.
Like hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
I don't bark. I'm like a husky. I just kind of yell.
Okay,
Yeah.
you just scream.
I
As-
like a French bulldog.
I think
Like a-
Loka.
Yes.
I think the moment he sees the dog, with the previous connection with this, I think he immediately understands what's going on, and he just kind of give like a head tilt for him to like move away, and then like a nod.
Cool.
Your eyesight's fine enough to have this brief communication. And
All right.
yeah, now what do? So just need to put a tail end, so to speak, on this little doggo adventure. Where are you gonna go?
The only little bit of this city that I actually know is whatever it did when I was here the first time to get from the caravan gate to the Warrens where we
Oh,
were at the
shit.
tavern.
Yeah, so,
So-
you're kind of a
Mhm.
lost doggo at this
I'm
point.
kind of lost. I don't really know where there's anywhere that I can try to get to, but I'm gonna try to head in the direction of the Warrens, I guess,
Oh
to
man.
find somewhere that I can try to hide out
Okay.
temporarily.
you can
'Cause
try
I need
to
to
follow-
sleep.
You can try to follow Nita's scent back to the Warrens. I don't know.
You just
From
know
like
everything.
a week ago.
Oh,
know
man.
anything
That's
of
really
Nissa's.
strong.
Days ago.
Yeah. To make your way back to the Warrens within 30 minutes is probably less than 30 minutes at this point.
Well,
is unlikely.
I do still have one wild shape left, so I can, if I
Really?
feel like it's getting close, I can duck in an alley somewhere and hide and
Okay.
re-up.
Because it's not going to be. Roll me a intelligence check.
Okay.
Because this is more like you ascertaining like how you could potentially get there. You took one route there. This is a city you don't know. Holy crap!
Nice.
But you do put two and two together, and you remember that you went to the northern side of the city, but with a lot of foot traffic. Your intelligence sort of kicks in and says you should probably not like remain out and about. There are jobs in this city, as would be in any city. You rationalize to yourself that there are jobs of people that maintain certainly the noble district and the merchant districts, free from vermin and creatures that may be, not where they should be. Also, there are butcher shops that you have passed by with some obscure meat. So your intelligence kicks in and say like, it's not gonna be a straight shot if you want to fear for your life, potentially getting caught or trapped or being possessed by a 6-year-old. Not the mental possession, but actual ownership.
Yeah.
So you might want to like make your way slowly back, and it will definitely take you longer than half an hour to get there, and probably won't get there until beyond nightfall. But you can certainly do it.
Yeah, I'll do that. Like I said, if it gets to the I feel like I'm gonna drop the doggo, I'll try to dip in somewhere and hide, even more so because I'm already gonna be trying to stay hidden the whole way there.
Sure. Okay.
As much as possible.
So mark all your charges off, and
Yep.
do you know where you're trying to get to in the Warrens?
I was just gonna try to go back to the inn or the tavern that we started at, where we
Okay.
all were attacked.
Right.
You have some money with you. You can get a room.
Well, the money's in the bag, is it not?
I don't know. My money that I had was in my bag that I started with that I
Yeah.
don't think we got back.
You
I just
did
got
not get that back, no.
that
And you
back.
didn't get any of the gold that was from the mine is also in the handy haversack, right?
Yes, yeah, that's not bad.
So
Well,
Pay with washing the dishes.
Stolen.
we will come back to Doggo because like you're basically going on, Blue Dog's big day out, exploring the
Yep.
city. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to see along the way. It'll
That's
be some time to get to you, but nevertheless, you will end up somewhere around there.
Cool.
But I'll describe later on. In fact, it's a lot of information you'll see around you in terms of the districts and like potential locations. So I'll actually just message you all of that since I do have it all prepared. You don't want me sitting here talking about what
Yeah, no, that's
merchants you see along the way. Okay.
Totally fine.
Cool. We're back to the slave pens.
Yay.
Not this boy, but I'll leave you there. I'm just gonna leave you in there, even though you're not there, Kark.
Yeah, that's
Just
fine.
so you can see. I don't think. Wait.
Spirit.
You're there. Yeah. Oh, there is no actual line of sight here, so
Yeah.
I can just remove you. Okay. As you are processed, you have let's put you outside first. You are brought to the gate of the slave pens once more, a sight that you had hoped that you would not see again. Some of the guards that look at you point and say, they're back. And the Templar that escorts you it goes over to the slave master Gron Blacktooth and starts to debrief the orc on the journey and that you are returning these slaves. The Templar looks to you all nearing the end of his report and states to Gron, almost got away from us at the end there. That one, and points with his warhammer towards Nissa. That one's flighty. Almost. But not due to the might of the Templars could she escape. But I do think a little bit of discipline might be in order, Gron Blacktooth. Gron looks over at you, Nissa, and then looks back to the Templar and say, We've had problems with that one before. I'll see to it. The Templar does a sort of half salute very quickly and then steps away and heads back. Just move him over here. And Gron takes a yawl. Wait, where's my slave keeper? Where'd I put my slave keeper? Slave keeper token, 1 second.
He has been executed for.
Has he?
Oh no!
He's been executed because he's bad at his job.
I
We're
disagree.
we're going full Star Wars here.
Going for. You didn't do anything wrong.
He's still
Doesn't matter. He just pleased the king.
It's my fault.
Nisa's still thinking about, dismembering him or something.
Well, this is gonna take something coming to her once I find this.
Oh
freaking
yeah,
token.
no, I'm sure. Was he the one that, whipped Malanda and her?
Yep.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Hey, the ones that whipped me unconscious are either dead or in this pen with us, so it's a good times ahead.
Fun times. Ooh, there are new people in the pens.
There's a lot of
yeah.
new people in the pen.
As you can see through the gates, that the slave pens have been filled up a little more with
good.
variety of elves and non-elves, and it seems like there has been a bit of not a purge, but like a capturing situation, or repopulations of the slaves to, from what you can gather, increase the speed of delivery. Sorry, I'm just going through all my tokens. For some reason I haven't managed to label it properly. Where is he? Screw it. I'll just like choose a different one for the time being. Don't know where he is.
Immersion ruined.
I know, right? Game is over, guys. Quality is atrocious. Where's my boys? Okay, this guy.
Nice. He
Um,
changed.
yeah, for sure. Now he's like even more aggressive, and he has like you know,
He's been blessed by
Ooh, he
Kyrie.
ugly.
indeed, for all his whipping. He's actually not in there. He's over here, right? Gron turns to the slave keeper and he says, "I hope your arm's not too tired from the whipping earlier. This one's gonna need a little bit more of that muscle. See to it." I'm sure she... And then he stops for a second, as if he's listening to something beyond what is heard audibly. And a few seconds later he goes, "Oh, for Gallic's sake. Oh, okay. Oh, get him in, boys. Get him in now. Look, you're going to have to do the whipping a little bit later. We've got to straighten everything out here. We've got a visitors coming, all right? Get him in. And the guards open up the gates and basically thrust you through, a little bit shocked and surprised, and the gate slams shut behind you. And there is a bit of some panicked movements as Gron Blacktooth goes to the hut back here, and he's gonna, you know, you're free to move your tokens, but he you don't see, but he produces a whistle, and you hear a whistle ring out like shrill shrieks, three short shrill shrieks. And the moment the three stop, there is a clattering of armor as the guards start moving this way and that on the outside. But for your purposes, you are not privy to seeing what is going on.
Sounds like an official visit.
Yeah, what the hell's is going on?
A noble wants to see the slave pens? Not sure.
Why would they?
For merchandise.
For what?
Merchandise. Your property, Nessa.
Oh, so they're coming in to browse.
Could be.
That's fucking disgusting.
I mean, they certainly have stocked up here. Not sure. Seems like they need these people here for Kelly.
As you venture further into the slave pens, two figures stand out to you. Beyond the standard sort of very destitute slaves on either sides of the camps in the slave pens, there are two rather muscular orcs at the far end of the slave pens that seem to be keeping to themselves, looking this way and that.
Oh, I imagine that's our god friends.
Are you sure?
I mean, most of them are half-orcs, aren't they? And they look a lot more fed than us.
Go
Why
beat him
don't
up.
yeah, why don't we go ask?
I mean, we can always talk to our elven mole over there. Mr. Buddy Buddy of the Gods.
Why don't we, like, chill out for moments?
Guys, I want to go check on Melanda first. I don't know about you, but I need to know she's alright.
I don't see her. Well, right now, I think. I mean, I think he has been looking around for Melinda for a while. I don't know if you can see her in a tent,
No, can't see her.
or not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's gonna be like, yeah, I don't see her anywhere here. I don't know.
I'll check in with Grange and Menage. Need to see if we can find Melanda.
At least know what happened. There's so many more people here.
You immediately feel like a dozen more eyes, if not more, stare at you all as you wander back in. Of course, the first person that immediately reacts to your presence is the large figure that is, working out with his workout buddy. And you see Grange, that his muscles are a little bigger, and his veins are like off the surface of, not off the skin, like they sort of contour the surface of his skin, and the veins that are like bulging off of his skin are like slightly red. And he sees you all come in, and he goes, "Yeah, bro! Yeah, you're back, bro! Awesome! I was looking for someone to spar. Lodmik here is failing on me, bro. You back? You back for good, bro? Thought you would die out there, bro." Speaking to
Thor
Logan.
kind of sighs, as he's not in the best of moods right now. He looks at him and says, "It's because I'm back."
So, I mean, you got some freaky eyes now, bro. Man, that just like adds to your whole persona, right? Looks great on you, bro. You wanna fight? You wanna spar for a bit, bro? I'm up for it. You down? You down while I'm up?
He like he tried to hold in, but like kind of a little bit of blood trickles out of his mouth as he is almost dead right now.
Oh my god.
Good to go now, bro.
And he looks at Grange. Give me a day to get back into things, alright?
Yeah. No worries, bro. I respect you. I mean, you look terrible, but you look great. I respect the hustle, bro. I'm sure you worked out hard out there, But I've been doing the same here, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I had to like fight through a whole mine of a bunch of undead people.
oh yeah, me too. Me too. I've been fighting my own too.
Sure. Well, I suppose you're looking great too. Do you know where Melanda is? Well, that tiefling, the red tiefling girl that gets kind of like hung up with the thing in the middle here before, or whipped and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So sorry, brah. Like, she's not doing so hot, brah. She's been like, taken every day by Gron, brah. Like, singling her out, and she comes back like fresh wounds on her, brah. And look, I don't want to get in the way with you two if you're a thing, brah. Like, respect you too much if you want to, like, the hustle. But yeah, sorry, brah. She's like, that last time she came in earlier today, it's like, I don't know how much more she can stand, brah, but I respect her too. I respect it. The respect that she could like put up with all of that, brah. But yeah, sucks for you, brah. Probably she's not gonna be in the mood for anything,
He gives him a glare, even though it's kind of weird with Noo's eyes. I'm not sure if it translates well when he gives glares. Now, he gives him a glare, and he just says, "That's not what this is about. She's a friend, Grange, and if I can't look out for her, I hope you do." And he just he doesn't really he's immediately not interested in conversation anymore, and he kind of moves on.
It's like as you
As they're talking.
mhm.
Oh, sorry, no, I was just gonna say that as they were talking, Nisa was rushing to the tent and kind of
yeah.
actively looking for
So-
Melanda.
Yeah, for sure. And Magrum will go with you. that's probably what he would do, as he is like someone who always wants to try and make everyone feel better, just in case. And it's a pretty sorry scene. You enter the ragged tent that you've technically called a home for a couple of nights, and on a filthy bedroll off the side, stained with blood and grime, you see a crippled tiefling lying on the bedroll. Her hair is like covering that of her face, but you can see through that it's puffy and bruised. You see on her legs like a multitude of wounds, and from perhaps whips to instruments. You see that on her body, as her like shift is all split and torn into tatters, barely covering her modesty. Also stained with blood and dried old blood. She is breathing very shallow. Her chest barely rising and falling, and she's currently unconscious.
Nisa will immediately drop to her knees beside her and kind of quickly check on her, maybe try to find her pulse
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that she's alive.
I mean, you can see her breathing.
Yeah.
But and does Nissa have like history in like medicine? Like, does she have proficiency?
No.
Okay. So you,
She's not proficient. She just wants to make sure
make the arrows
how-
go away.
yeah,
Lokar
like
is-
and also, like how fast her heart is beating, like how badly she's hurt. I don't know.
Right. Is anyone proficient in medicine?
I am proficient in medicine.
Oh
I
dang.
think like 3 of us are actually.
So
I
Aurora
think,
and Lokar are proficient.
I think Karak is too.
Yeah, we don't have
Oh,
a doggo
Karik.
here. Okay, so Nissa, like, whilst you've like, you know, bandaged up your own wounds from time to time, especially after like being chased through the warrens and being like, you know, sort of half shanked, trying to steal some bread perhaps. Lokar and I mean Aurora, you're talking to Minaj, but so Lokar is there.
Yeah,
So
I think he.
So Lokar, you're able to roll medicine if you want to look over her and check the status
Yeah, I
of
would-
what she's been through.
Zenly. Can I get advantage because maybe it's not the first time like checked like for wounds on her specifically even.
No, there's
Okay,
no
sure.
advantage here.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered as you can see.
Oh dang, double eights.
I somehow double clicked again.
It's still you know, you're able to roll. So like you've seen some pretty horrific things in the war when it comes to injuries and whether people are able to continue on, or are they going to be like, you know, out of action for a long period of time through, you know, being a soldier. You've seen people lose legs and arms and stuff like that in your time. And looking at Melanda and what she's been through, you estimate that whilst you're unsure directly about like what has impacted her or what she has been injured by or how sort of severe the injuries are, you can certainly ascertain that she has been tortured. The wounds are too precise to be that of just random inflicted damage.
And I like made the stick.
Sorry?
They're made to like stick. They're not like
Yeah.
normal wounds.
Yeah,
Or, like, there's
exactly.
no
They
intention
are
of-
like thin, deep cuts that wouldn't be
Yeah.
from like a scimitar or a longsword, but more tools.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe also why he can't quite pinpoint. Not really. I mean, you might have seen it on Milan a bit before, but not really anyone else. I think he's like kneel down and checks over it, and then he kind of just says like, "These wounds are meant to stick." So, look, I'm not sure I can do much for her right now. It's not normal wounds that you treat.
I'm gonna fucking kill the slave master. I'm gonna kill him.
Well, get in line.
You can help. You're welcome to help. But I'm gonna kill him. Someday.
I'm sure you get attachments too fast, Nisa. And he kind of still he'll like try maybe some cloth and like put it over her for now. From the tent maybe.
Sure.
And
Tear a piece of the tent off
Yep.
and drape on top of it.
Mhm.
I have attachment that goes a bit deeper.
She's been really badly hurt, Milker. It's not. I don't think it's a matter of attachments right now. It's just a matter of common sense. And I know I don't look like I have much of that, but I do. And it's not fair. What else do they want? What else could they possibly want from her? I don't know. It's just
Your contact, I assume. Or a ticket. What they want. And I guess they also want her to suffer.
this is all just so fucked up. Honestly. Really fucked up.
Welcome to the real world.
Oh no. I'm aware. I'm aware that the real world is fucked up.
You can see he like says these like maybe calming words or maybe dismissive words, but you can see like deep like this the teeth gritting his teeth and like tensing up. But it seems more of like anger, but he doesn't like outwards it just seems like it's dismissal, but he can seem like being deeply angry. I don't think he can really hide that right now. All the frustration that has been mounting.
Should probably get some rest. Okay.
I hope you can get some rest. I guess they're only gonna go for some whips at least.
It's alright, I'll be fine. They won't kill me. They don't want the rest of the slaves making me a sort of, I don't know, martyr or something. They don't want to give the other people, the rest of people, an excuse, or maybe one more excuse to rebel. So they won't kill me. I'll be okay.
I'm sorry for not reacting fast enough.
No, it was not your fault. I tried and I failed.
I just forgot that you could just get out there. I
It's
think you did the
alright.
right thing. It was a good call. And I think if I could have reacted, I think we had a good chance there. But I just
It's not your fault.
stuck in my head. I know it's not my fault, but which sucks. I guess.
At least Carrick is still out there. We still have that in our favor, I guess. We saw him earlier, so we know he is alright.
Definitely I'm jealous of him getting a normal night's sleep.
Just get some rest. I'll be on the lookout.
Aurora, you're going over to Menage as this scene is playing out. He's, on his traditional stone. Just his body is glistening with sweat from a day's worth of exhaustion and exertion, shall we say. Tanta is also sitting there. She is, her hands are somewhat grazed and bloody. Clearly they've not had good working days, and it is at the end of the day as if everyone has been just returned back at the end, when it's around sunset, as you will remember. And he sort of wearily tilts his head up towards you as you come back in.
Master Menage, you look well. No, nod my head as Tanta as well to acknowledge her.
That a fucking joke?
Consider it humor for our dire circumstances.
So you survived out there then?
Indeed. I have a proposal. You tell me what's going on since we've left, I'll tell you what happened in the mines. And you can choose your story, the truth or the propaganda that they'll start spewing. And do it with it as you wish.
Not much to say, really. Well, little bit to mention. It seems like they been doing some sort of heavy enslaving, shall we say. New folk, fresh faces. Seemed like several a day after you left. There was quite an uproar after hearing about the fact that there's no more iron coming back over here. But we kept on having to go through our standard day of working. With or without you. I mean, you're only here a couple of days. There's quite a significant tension as the numbers are growing here in the pens. People keep looking over the other side of the line, and he gestures to where that stake is. We named it the line. Those
The night before we were taken out, the elves tried to kill some of us. Have they been attempting to do that?
Well, I don't think that the Naya really expected that they'll be doing so much of a recruitment on slaves and trying to keep these newcomers from killing each other. It's kept him busy. However, the elves seem to be well formed as per usual, whereas we've got some slackers here and this is only what's left. We've had quite a number try to escape, break out. Didn't really work out for them. Now they're taken elsewhere by the morning crew. Put into that vat. Nevertheless, there's certainly movement. And the ziggurate's almost finished. You just need a little bit more of that iron and we'll be right as rain. Maybe a few more days at it. Not quite sure what's going to happen next, but...
Any change might be better, right?
Well, now that we have it almost complete, I struggle to think exactly what it's for and what to come of us. I mean, it's likely that we'll just be put on another project, but something don't add up, really. What with all these new slaves coming in, not exactly sure what's going to happen.
Do you people still truly believe that Kalik is going to set the slaves free after the ziggurat is empty? Done?
I mean, that's one way of looking for hope. I've long since given up hope, you see. This is my life, as far as I can take it. Keep your head down. Survive. Who knows what's to come, but at this point, I just pray I don't get whipped.
You have a strong spirit, Manaj. It's why I respect you.
Tanta, like, almost chokes as she's, like, listening to the conversation. And she says, "It's called fucking stubbornness. He won't listen. He has no will left. He's broken. He can't lead these people." And Manaj looks over to Tanta and says, "Now what did I talk to you about before, about going off? Throwing around that slander, Tanta. You know what happens when you displease me." And Tanta just like looks to you, Aurora, and back to Manaj, and she, doesn't say anything.
Master Manaj, excuse her rudeness. I'm an unknown factor for her. It's easy to misstep. I urge you for your restraint. If there is any desire for hope left in these pens, then at the very least we could be decent to each other. For those that deserve it, at least.
So, you know what's going on here? What's going on out there?
Do you want the truth or the propaganda?
I want something that can help us.
I'll sit down, like, on the ground next to him, like, fold my legs across and kind of motion him to bring his head close in. I'll start whispering to him. Sounds like the Templars have lost control of the mine, along with a couple other things that are running under the foot. When we got there, it was overrun by shadow creatures. Nasty things. They can possess you and puppet you like a doll. Killed most of the miners. There was a handful of kids that lived, but irrelevant in the grand scheme of the operations. We saw hundreds of corpses. The guards that went with us proved to be rather cowardly. One of them got killed by when the Templar showed up. Another one died trying to show that he was a little bit more brave than the rest. I imagine those orcs over on the other side of the pen are the last two survivors.
Manaj like looks over his shoulder towards the orcs standing at the southern side of their pens, and like looks back to you and gives a nod and says, "Ever seen a body in pieces before?"
I think it would be best if we cooperated with the elves tonight and directed all of our attention on those guards. Let there be peace, for today, at least.
Minaj gives a shrug and says, "Well, I don't really command anyone around here, really. I give my opinion and people hear it, just because I've been here the longest. And these new folk, they're a bit sketchy.
those that value your opinion, if you would let them know, I'm sure that they would agree. I can go talk to the elves, I speak their tongue.
As you prefer. I think they're a suitable enough distraction as it is. Certainly going to be orc blood on this sand tonight. That's for damn sure.
Let's just keep it away from ourselves, right?
Recommend
Right.
plug in your ears if you don't like the sound of screams.
Understood, Minaj. Though, the last thing that happened while we were there, we killed a particularly large, commanding shadow creature. It had taken control of some larger insects. Ankak, if you know what those are. We just killed it. Took its head, threw it on top of the mine, and that's when the Templars showed up. Angry that the mine had been stopped, and angry at the guards for not being able to do their job.
Alright. Wondered why it was taking so long.
Here's the thing, though. Tithian was there. The Lord Templar?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you hear names, I'm assuming. I imagine if something was as significant as not having mind to finish the ziggurat, you'd get up to the chain of command eventually, right?
And so it would seem. Which means that Karlak personally knows of everything that's going on here in the mines and the pits and the ziggurat. So, he's probably sending somebody to look into it personally. Could be Tithian, could be a noble, could be him himself. Lord knows we haven't seen him in forever. It's not like he prances around the city.
Well, don't really make changes to my life. As pitiful as it is, it's simple.
Templars got the mine reopened, cleaned up what we were too exhausted to finish up, and they sent us back here. From what I understand, there's going to be games and more fighters for them. But other than that, I don't really know much.
Anyway, there is some sort of rumours that have been sort of passed around, overheard by the guards, by others, sort of made its way back to me. There is talk of some celebration, what with the ziggurat being complete finally, and if you're saying the mines are back operational, it's only a matter of time before everything falls into place. It's been a while since this city's had some games. And what with you going off to train as the gladiators, I imagine you have more information from that point too. But I'm sure more information will come sooner or later.
Other than the game starting, and there's a desire to please the king, there's not much been shared with us yet. Though, I imagine if we keep going with Grange and everybody else, it'll come to light. Happy to keep you informed.
Fair enough. Anything else?
No, Master Minaj, I believe we're on the same page tonight. I wish you good sleep, if any of us can get it. And you too, Tanta.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to see what happens. One day at a time, eh, Tanta? Tanta, like, nods kind of quickly towards Minaj. One day at a time, friend. That's all we can live for.
Do not let that flame die. Nosh. Enjoy your afternoon.
He like chucks a stone into the ashes of a small fire pit as you walk off, barely acknowledging your exit.
I'll need to go talk to the elven leader at some point. But probably talk to go find Lokar and them first.
Sure. There's still time to do that if you guys wanna go talk to Lokar or the party.
Yeah. I mean, I think after that I would probably find them just to check in and see if Melanda's dead or not.
So which way you going to the elves first?
Well, I can't decide, so let's roll a dice. 2 as we go check Lokar.
What else is happening in the tent where Melanda is suffering? The suffer tent.
Well, certainly Loka is not at all resting. I think he's very unhappy with not being able to do anything, and I think he just like. I mean, obviously he already has rolled, but he's gonna continue to like try to figure out if that's something he can do. And that's just what he's doing instead of resting. It's just kind of like keeping, like maybe he like tries to like see if they can like stop some blood, or yeah, just whatever he can. He tries whatever he can do to like help her. He has some trouble with these wounds, and there's not something he's necessarily familiar with.
Yeah, it's tricky for you. I mean, you can do like sort of like field bandages as much as you can with shreds from a tent. It's not practical, and it's not like you have a med kit to ease her suffering. You do the best you can, but it doesn't really do much as far as your as you complete like trying to fix stuff. These wounds aren't battle wounds. These are purposefully inflicted wounds that took time and was likely to have been done very slowly and purposefully. So as you have the proficiency in it, you attempt to try and do this, but you slowly realize after the wounds don't seem to be really benefiting from your field dressing. Maybe it's the tools that you have, or the lack of equipment, or the fact that these wounds themselves are different, that you don't feel like you've made much of a difference.
I think if he comes to the conclusion of that, he's going to like go like cross-legged next to her and kind of like, because he realizes that every emotions are mounting again, and he needs to do something about them right now before he's way too bad in the shape to do something stupid. So he gets like cross-legged next to her and tries to just relax and focus and calm himself.
Okay.
To all the feelings he's getting right now.
Cool. As you do that, Nissa.
Yeah.
Please make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
By the way, guys, you hear music, right?
I have no music coming from Roll20 now.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Just start 0-0, yeah. For some reason, it's
No.
not starting the
No.
music. It shows
Yeah.
it, but it's not.
No music.
Really?
can't
Because
hear it either.
it's playing for me. So what if I just do this one? Is that any better?
Maybe it started. Yeah.
Yeah, that plays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's usually down to the buffering of the audio file. So if I play the other one back again, it might start up again. But it's fine. I'll just leave it on this one for the time being.
Nice. Let's go, Nissa.
Yes.
You feel as you are like stepping out of the tent, seeing Melanda in her state. Maybe it's what you saw, but for whatever reason, you feel your stomach lurch. and
Oh.
you clasp your stomach as like a shooting pain travels through your sides, and it's almost like a cramp, like a heavy cramp. I mean, like a strong menstrual cramp, because you understand what this feel like. And you hear audibly your stomach make this rolling growl of a sound, like something ain't right in there, but you hold down this sensation to vomit, and you feel so much worse. This feeling within your belly seems to reside there, as if someone has you swallowed a lump of coal, and it sits there at the base of your stomach, and that nauseous feeling, wave after wave, goes through you, and your blue skin goes a little paler.
Yeah, she will kind of hold on to one of the I don't know, the ropes that are holding the tent upright. She will hold on to it for support and try to balance herself. Maybe try not to look so sick in front of the rest of slaves, because she doesn't want to, you know, be perceived as weak or ill. And yeah, she will just once the waves of you know sickness or start to kind of fade out, she will swipe a hand over her sweaty forehead and just take deep breaths and go, what the fuck was that? And kind of just trying to check if anybody's looking at her weird, maybe. Anybody's noticed that?
No
Back,
one's
maybe.
really paying too much attention to you from outside of the party. Mag, who's stepping at the back, you know, he's like sort of watching Lokar, knowing that he can't do anything more than what he is doing. He will certainly like see you, and he's gonna come over and says, "Everything all right? You don't look so hot."
And she will give him a kind of a weak smile and go, I don't feel too good, Mag, if I'm being really honest with you, but it's just, it's fading now. It shouldn't really be that much of a problem. Maybe I've just got, you know, an upset stomach or something.
He looks you up and down and says, "You know, we've been through quite a bit already together. You don't have to pretend if that's what you're trying to do. It's very obvious that you don't look so good. So I'm here to offer anything I can do. If you just have to tell me what that is."
I'm good. You notice that her voice kind of falters a little, but she's doing her best to stay on top of it. And she rests a hand on Magram's shoulder and goes, thank you for being here, Mag, but I'll let you know if I need anything, okay?
Promise?
I promise.
Do you really promise? Persuasion or deception? You can roll it to me secretly.
Okay.
So in D&D Beyond, you can set it to private roll, I think, when it comes to me. Or
Oh
GM
yeah.
roll.
Oh, I think I can do whisper roll.
Yeah, whisper.
I'll
roll.
try a whisper roll.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do my own roll, or Magrin's roll, since no one else is here. And he nods and says, "Whatever happens, we made it this far together. Let's try and keep it that way." And he
All right.
sort of like leaves you alone and goes back inside the tent and sits with Lokar to see if there's anything else he can do to help. Okay.
Also off roll, but this music and this conversation just made me very emotional. I don't know why.
Aw.
But yeah, just wanted to
Concern.
say that.
Magrim, stealing everyone's hearts. Okay. So Nissa, we kind of skipped over what you were doing. Is there anything you're doing other than just feeling the weird stuff in your stomach, or?
No, not much, not really. It's just standing outside, maybe trying to get some fresh air.
Okay. Fresh air and
Yeah,
sleep
not much.
ends. Yeah. Okay, let's move to Aurora going across the line.
Yeah, I'll like cross the line, but like not venture too much further, and I'll call out in Elvish. Master Neha, a moment of your time.
There's some movement within that tent, but since everyone's there, you see Nehav come back. He's still sweaty from the end of the day, and actually Talia is going to go with him. So, and he stays there and says, "I see you're back. With your
I see you are
friends."
doing. Yes, we are. I see you are still healthy and well. Congratulations.
It's been a different sort of environment since you've been gone, but we persist.
Your endurance in the face of adversity is to be commended, Master Nehev. Of that, you have my respect.
I'm not looking for the respect of a human, especially one from the other side of the line. What is it that you are wanting, human?
2 proposals, Master Nehev. 1, peace for tonight. There is a greater enemy, and I believe that everyone in these slave pens would appreciate an opportunity at. And I'll nod my head towards the orcs.
It's kind of audible if you're just like at this distance, and the orcs that go down the back, down the south. They sort of-
It is in Elvish. It is
Oh,
in
it's in
Elvish.
Elvish. It's in
so-
Elvish.
Yeah,
Do these orcs
yeah.
know Elvish? No, they don't. Okay, it's in Elvish. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll say that in Elvish with complete open dialogue.
Fair enough. All the elves look towards the orcs almost in unison. Like there's like 24 elves. It's like shoomf. And like they sort of cower behind. They look to each other and they speak in orcish. Go ahead.
Everyone gets a chance. If they take out a few, it'll reduce the amount of people here. Good for both sides. And it also gives us all an opportunity to vent our mutual frustrations. I have Menaj's backing.
Do you? What is the second proposal?
A swapping of information. I want to know your perspective and everything that has happened here in the pens and what you have learned since we have been gone. In exchange, I will tell you what happened in the mines. You may choose to have either the propaganda or the truth.
Not interested in hearing your stories about what else is going on, true or not. I have a half mind to think that anything that comes out of your mouth would just purely be to stir up this camp even further. We will keep the peace and enjoy some sport this evening. So rest well, at least for tonight.
A fair proposal. Thank you for your generosity.
Be cautious, human. Just because you know our language does not mean we trust you.
Master Nahav, you're an elf. No one trusts anyone who speaks Elvish.
He actually cracks a smile. And he looks back to Thalia, and she sort of like gives him a quick side glance with like a small smirk over her face and says, maybe that joke just saved you the next night too, human. Be strong, but do not feel like the pens are a safe place. Survival of the fittest here, and we elves, we persist.
And so do I, Master Nahav. Thank you for your time. We have guests soon. Be prepared.
Guess?
Of the royal type, I imagine. And I'll give a polite bow and turn around.
He like raises an eyebrow like that and then looks back to Talia, and Talia like looks like a little bit vexed, and they kind of step, and they sort of have, as you step away, whispered conversations looking your way as you depart. It's not a few moments later, and Nahav and Talia return, and you hear a sharp whistle like from Nahav, and there is a sort of movement within the Elvish camp as they sort of congregate to hear what Nahav has to say. I'm not going to move all the tokens, but they are. They're all listening.
As expected, they're not fully part of the communications. He's bottom of the rung. I'll return to the party.
Alright, you enter, you see what I described with Melanda, but you see Lokar doing his very best, almost desperately so, one could say, to try and understand what's actually gone on with Melanda and try to ease her suffering. Not doing much to aid that.
I am better at medicine than Lokar is. Or are you going to accept his role?
Well, so Lokar's role was based off of his. So he's proficient in medicine for a specific reason, due to his soldier background, right, Pepper?
Yeah, it's learned that.
Yeah, like field
in the soldier
dressings,
war.
like putting splints in, using, I don't know, staples in like combat dressings. But you, on the other hand, your medicine proficiency comes from somewhere else.
It's from the faith. How to endure suffering as easily as possible.
Then I would like you to let's see what happens with your medicine roll. 10. Then you're gonna have
a little
to
better.
roll your religion with disadvantage. Since the medicine doesn't give you the information to make a choice, but something does trigger it.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
What?
Oh, my mic was on. Sorry.
Wow. So you see Lokar attempting to dress them as if a field wound, and there's many wounds on Melanda as you take a quick look over them, and you have never seen wounds created to this extent on a person and have that person still be alive. You have seen it on bodies, perhaps, cadavers, maybe. But as you look over the wounds, whilst you don't really recognize the purpose of them, you recognize the intent. And they are, from your background perspective, they are wounds inflicted to draw the most pain, to draw the most suffering. Now, the people that you know that would perform such actions are very few, and most of them would have to be in the Templar's court. So whoever has made these wounds, this torture, this was not done as like a fleeting thing, and it is gravely concerning to you, especially from a perspective of Ilmata, that the suffering that Melander went through in your absence, like, you've probably not seen the likes of suffering to anyone else.
Oh dear. If it wasn't so wicked, it would almost be beautiful. This is horrifying. I'm kind of check her pulse. Does she's obviously like weak, but is this like weak that she could die at any moment, or is she like still strong enough to make it her day or two?
With your 10, it's like you're, all things considered, you check over her statistics, like, and your brow furrows every second that you see another wound, and that thing that happens in your back of your mind is saying, like, this is like unbearable to anyone. The fact that she still breathes represents something significant to you. For someone to endure such pain and still hang on, she must have something to live for.
Blessed Ilmata, I hope you see this one. Because I do not have the ability to help her. But you do.
Lisa will peek her head back into the tent and go, so what did the pointy-eared tosser say?
They're gonna kill the orcs tonight. So we
Oh.
won't have to worry about our sleep.
Who is? All of them? Like both the elves and the humans?
Yes, I talked to Nehav and Manaj. I don't
Oh,
particularly
good.
want that orc living another fucking day. Justice will be
that's
served
good to
by
hear.
the rule of a mob.
Are you planning on being part of the mob, or should we just step back?
No. I'll see what I can do for her here tonight. It's probably not much.
All right. I'm sorry, I can't be of more help. I can stand watch, if that helps.
Do you know anything about blood types? Do tieflings have different blood types?
And she just tilts her head to one side like a dog.
Forget
Huh?
about it. Forget about it.
Is it like, does it have to do with the flavor, or?
Yes, different flavors of blood. If they match, you can share it. If they don't match, it makes you sick. But everybody has a different type. It's really only identifiable by magic.
Well, I'm not that proficient. I'm not proficient in that type of magic, as you probably have noticed.
Here I thought you were good at everything, Nisa.
Huh, huh, huh. She's just looking very, very pale and with, you know,
How's the
dark
infection?
under eyes. I mean, the infection is doing really well. Myself, not so much.
Describe the symptoms. Do you have any yet?
Well, I'm not. I mean, I've had better days. I'm not doing that badly, but I had earlier. I had, you know, a very nasty churning in my stomach, and I had this terrible urge to puke.
Indigestion?
Yeah, it was like a really painful cramp. Something's not quite right inside me. A part of the
Well.
obvious.
There's multiple things wrong with you, Nisa.
Mm-hmm.
Melanda, at the very least, needs a blood transfusion, I would think, but anything else, May Ilmata have mercy. Yes. These kind of injuries, they bleed quite a bit,
Yeah.
on top of hurting like no fucking tomorrow.
So she needs somebody else's blood? How?
She needs a lot of fucking healing.
Yeah, that we cannot provide.
She needs a much more powerful cleric than me, at the very least.
I feel bad, Aurora. I can't help but feeling that her being like this, it's somehow our fault. We left.
Abandonment is a difficult thing to come to terms with, Nisa. I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Okay.
As you're having this very touching conversation over the weekly breathing Melanda, the drums. You want to do something real quick?
Can I do one brief thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it is kind of at this point Lokar has given a bit up on like trying to do anything. It just keeps frustrating him anymore. And I think he kind of like mutters under his breath like, maybe if Morak was here, I could have done something. And he just kind of like plays flat next to her, and kind of is reminded, being battered and bruised, not the first time, being like this, and kind of see he is like both getting teary-eyed a bit, but kind of smiling. He kind of just laying there, looking up to like the roof of the tent. Kind of gotten to the point of like just accepting what's going on right now.
Okay.
Yep, that's it. Bram's can start now.
As you do that, you will hear echoing around the walls of the slave pens the beating drums of the slave masters. There is an immediate movement for some of the people, the majority of the slaves, and moments after that, the newer slaves sort of fall into line as Gron's voice shouts out amongst over the pens, so like, "Fall in line, you maggots! We got someone to see you all!" And the drums beat, and you can see as you step outside, the guards on the towers load their crossbows and point them towards the slave pens. I'll save me moving the tokens, but everyone congregates in the middle. As Gron steps to the side, you can see a person that you know step up the stairs onto the podium. Where's my freaking thing? Tithian stands next to Gron as he... I'm going to put a guard here who's doing the drum. Bum 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 bum. Let's change the music up. It's a bit more interesting.
Yes, please, or else I'm gonna keep crying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just very invested.
That's great. Okay, Tithian stands up onto the podium, to the stage that overlooks the pens, staring down onto the faces looking up. It is very clear that there is more slaves here that makes more of a crowd than before. And wordlessly, he like surveys the eyes, and then his eyes kind of like reach you guys, and they stop for a moment. Then he turns around, and you can't see exactly where he is. He's looking down. He's looking back down the podium, and up the stairs comes a different person. A aged hobgoblin steps up onto the podium overlooking the slave pens. As he stands on stage next to Tithian, it is as if he owns the presence around him, standing with purpose, commanding a mix of fear and reverence from the guards, and Tithian included. They all half bow, averting their eyes somewhat. His skin, once a vibrant red, has faded and distorted to a paper-thin, sickly pale lilac, the bone of his skull almost visible through the fragile skin. His face is etched with deep lines, with eyes that burn like dying embers beneath heavy, furrowed brows. His gaze is piercing, and it feels as if he pierces through the souls of all he looks at in the slave pens, and carrying this weight of years of knowledge. His yellow teeth peek out from beneath thin, cracked lips that haven't smiled in decades, and his thin, brittle black hair is etched with grays and whites strands, and is tied back with golden hair clasps, and a long white tuft of thin hair makes that of his beard from the point of his chin. Despite his age, his body is held up with unworldly strength, though hunched with the burden of his years. He's clad in robes of deep purple and gold, embroidered with arcane symbols that shimmer in the dying light. His garments hang loose on his gaunt frame, giving him the appearance of a corpse wrapped in royal finery. He wears an intricate golden crown with a symbol of Kalis emblazoned in the center above his withered forehead. In his right hand, he clutches a twisted staff of blackened wood, topped with a pulsating blood-red crystal that seems to absorb the blood-red light of the sunset. His left hand holds his robes closed at his chest, and that hand is adorned with rings of gold and bone, and often drifts to a pendant around his neck, a glimmering piece glowing faintly with a sickly green light. His eyes flash, and he speaks with a raspy whisper. It's magically enhanced through thaumaturgy. The slave pens quiet, with a few gasps here and there, and whispers of, "Oh my god, his colic." His voice rings out. "Loyal servants of Gerst, you have labored long and hard in the shadow of my ziggurat. Day after day you have toiled beneath the unforgiving sun, driven by the knowledge that your effort build something far greater than yourselves. And now, beyond what you have wrought, a monument to our strength, our perseverance, our undying will." He pauses to moisten his chapped lips with a black tongue. "You have given everything, and soon the world shall look upon this ziggurat and know the power of Gerst. Know the power of your King Kalik." His fist clenches around the staff, and the crystal at its tip pulses with a malevolent light. "And for all this, you shall be rewarded." Some of the slaves begin to murmur words of surprise. Curiosity, fears, gasps. "Yes," he continues, "you shall all have the honor of participating in the Grand Arena. Games to mark the completion of this grand work. These games shall be a spectacle unlike any other, a celebration of blood, strength, and survival. Those of you who are strong, who have endured the hardships of your labor, shall prove yourselves in the arena before all of Gerst. Oh, yes. Everyone will be there. Everyone will see who is responsible for this grand achievement. Think of it as an opportunity to rise above your station, to show that you are more than mere slaves. The strongest among you may earn glory, may even earn your freedom. It will be A glorious event, an event that hopes to entice Lord Cullis himself to attend. Oh, yes. How we have all missed Cullis, have we not, my loyal servants? And to make the games as exciting as possible, you must now all train. And you must fight as if your very souls depend on it. Perhaps they do. The ziggurat nears completion, and so too is your time of peace. Prepare yourselves, blood of Gerst, servants of Cullis, for soon you shall have the honor of dying for Gerst, or the glory of rising as champions. A cheer rings out around the pens. Words of "For Cullis" and "Honor to Kalik" for the glory of Gerst. Kalik does a nod and surveys the cheering pens before slowly turning his back on you and taking the hand of Tithian down the stairs of the stage. Gron takes his place on the stage and barks out to you. Take that as your life's command. Rest now, my sweet slaves. Tomorrow, we train. And to keep that strength of yours up, there will be double rations this evening. Make them not go to waste. And continuous cheering happens from within the pens as like, double rations, I can't wait to have more food, I'm starving. And then like, yay to Kalik and woo Kalik and I'm gonna kill everyone. And the crowd begins to shuffle into the like two columns, because there's too many people now, for the night's ration, as the drums start happening again at the pace for it's chow time. What are your thoughts?
He looks like a fucking raisin. Aurora. You never told me this.
Glory to the king in his immortality.
Jeez, hold us balls, come on.
He didn't turn that much more dead. And he always was.
Had you seen him before, Lokar?
Unfortunately so, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him in my life.
No,
If
I
I
mean, it's
if I did, I
conceived.
would.
You haven't exactly been missing much, Nisa. As you
Yeah,
said.
no.
Well, I won't repeat it, but as you said.
Yeah, no. I get it. It's unnecessary bloodshed.
There's what, 40 people in these pens? There'll be a melee, and all of them will be dead.
Maybe we will be dead.
Also possible. Though I have no intention of dying and having Calic claim my soul.
I'm a bit worried that Callus and Calic are going to be there.
Perhaps
Yeah.
Callus will see what we've accomplished and fix this fucking misery like he promised.
There might still be people looking for me.
Maybe
Callus might be
you
one of those
promise a
people.
lot of things.
No, Ka, you have been very cagey about your past. So you're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Right.
We can do some sharing tonight.
Better than being part of the mob, right?
I
We-
guess.
We will expedite the collection of food and water. You gain enough food this night to not have rumbling stomachs, at least if you eat. And the water rations is doubled enough to not incur exhaustion this night.
If you think I'm eating people. No.
Hey man, I'm just saying. So we will skip the scene of people eating other people in a grey sludge form, and we will expedite to you guys in the tent.
Good.
Unless somebody in the party and or Malanda can have my food, I will give it to either Garage or Minaj.
Okay.
Depending on... Get more brownie points.
You will incur damage for no food, but your water is fine. No, you've had enough food actually. You had a food for. Wait, you didn't eat
I had
today.
food.
You didn't eat today, right? You had like a.
We stopped for
Yeah,
lunch.
we had a stop.
A small
Yeah, we
stop
stopped for lunch.
with small rations, right? But nothing
Yeah.
significant. So, yeah, you'll be fine for this night. You maybe it's okay. You had enough rations in the mines anyway to have decent meals for the moment. So maybe you won't incur damage right this second, but it's not something sustainable. Nevertheless, you may move on to anything you want to do as the pens turn colder as the night rolls in.
It seemed like there's any chance of Melanda waking up, looking at her breath.
Make another medicine check as it's been a while.
Considering I'm also trained in medicine, could I help him identify signs and things like that? So,
If you're both concerned about our well-being, yeah, one of you roll with advantage.
it's Lokar's idea, but I have the higher modifier, so
Yeah, it's still advantage one way or another. One number really doesn't really change much.
well, it's his decision who rolls.
You can do it.
If I could remember how to roll with advantage.
Shift. Holding shifts. And then collecting the part.
15. She's very weak. And despite your cringing over the contents of what your food is made of, she's malnourished, and your medical knowledge in both forms, as you look at each other, it's like she needs some sort of way to gain strength. The only way to do that is with food.
Well, there goes one of my bowls.
It is
Can we help?
she stirs like in a stupor when you try and feed her some food, and like it's more about like drip feeding her rather than she's eating. So it's going to take a while for that to happen. So for part of your watch tonight, we'll be collectively feeding Malanda. Like a baby bird.
Let's hope this helps.
Okay, guys. I have a suggestion.
Hmm.
This might be. This could be our very last night in the pens or in live or whatever. So, and I guess, at least on my part, some sharing is long overdue. So who wants to start? Or should I start?
Whatever you feel like.
Go ahead, Nasa. This I have to hear.
I did say to Lokar, I think it was Lokar, that these things are better shared over a tankard of ale in a tavern. But since that looks like it's not going to happen anytime soon, I guess this will have to do. So yeah. I had a sister. And I say had because she's dead. She died a few years back. Her name was Hero. And she was my little sister. She was younger than me. She was lively and bright and just she was like a ray of sunshine. And we were all better for knowing her. And I took care of her. I looked after her after we lost our parents to an illness. And that illness ended up, I don't know, affecting her as well. I don't know how. I must have, I don't know, overlooked something. But she was very ill, and I was running out of resources to look after her. Well, you know how it is in the Warrens. I borrowed shit, I stole shit, I exchanged shit in order to get her the things that she needed to become healthy again, but she was not getting any better, so I did the only thing that sounded sort of reasonable. And so I turned to a higher power? Or should I say lower? And she kind of, she pulls out the tiny crystal pendant.
You
From
signed a
beneath her.
pact with a devil.
You bet your ass I did.
You're a fucking moron, Nisa.
Loka's gonna punch Aurora.
Ow!
Oh. She points to the pendant and goes, "This is a drop of my blood that I obtained when I struck the deal with my patron. And yes, he's a devil. And the worst thing is that He tricked me. I
Lokar's
asked
gonna
him
look at
to-
Aurora. I thought he didn't say anything.
You see Aurora like ready to say something, looks at Lokar, like feels her chin real quick, and she just keeps her mouth shut for a second.
Like we've been known. Yeah, she's gonna go. He tricked me. I know what you're thinking. I shouldn't have trusted his word, but I was so desperate, guys. I had to save my sister. I wanted her to live. I even begged him to take me instead and just be done with it. But no. Now I am exchanging a number of souls for hers.
When you hit people with your magic, the energy that flows back to you, it's a soul siphon, isn't it?
Sort of. Yeah.
Oh well, what happened with your sister?
Sorry, what was that?
What happened with your sister? You said you took her. She's just still ill, or what exactly happened?
Please. It's just the Warrens are not exactly the cleanest area in Gerst. Illnesses abound, and you just have to be extremely careful not to catch anything. And we were. But yeah, a couple of years after my parents sadly passed because of an illness. I just made extra sure she didn't catch anything, but she did. One day she just got very sick and then she was gone. And I can't live with the fact that she's gone. I should have taken better care of her. I should have been a better sister.
To me, it
Come
doesn't
here,
sound
dummy.
like your sister would ever be close to a devil unless that devil always planned that. I mean, from what you tell me about her, she shouldn't have gone to the hells. So, maybe it's not your fault. Maybe sometimes fault doesn't really exist like that.
I think at this point, Aurora's just gonna like hug Nisa and say, "Come here, dummy."
Yeah, she goes along with it. And goes, I look, I don't know why he took her soul. Well, I kind of do, because to be fair, it was the most valuable soul ever.
It's what they do, Nisa. Lie, manipulate, trick. All in the perpetuation of evil. The devil's ultimate goal is to inflict maximum suffering on everything.
But I had heard of other bargains, and I didn't think it would be this bad. I just thought it would turn out better.
The more powerful the devil, the more power they can grant, and the more twisted that evil can be.
I mean,
I guess you're
as
right.
I know,
No, no, I was just gonna say that I guess you're right.
Say I know much about devils, but I can understand wanting to save your sister. So,
The kids in the mine. Did the devil tell you to kill them?
He did. Through the little creature that he sends now.
Creature.
Yeah, the little furry thing that stinks and reeks of sulfur.
I'm gonna look at Lokar and just like shrug. I haven't seen it.
You have not you've not seen it? Can I see it? Just me?
I know not how this devil works. The details of your pact.
yeah, but I
Well-
think, well, do you know your details of your pact? Because I suppose is there. I mean, I'm not necessarily wanting to fulfill your contract, but is there like an amount of souls you're gathering that would suffice, or is it just an endless?
The devil's
I mean,
contract is likely unachievable.
I can only hope I get to the minimum amount of souls within my own lifetime.
Right. You'll serve in hell too.
Magrim
Yeah.
will speak up and say, I've been privy to such information. I've learned about the plains and the hells, and do you recall the name of the devil that you signed a pact with? At least that might give us some information to go on in terms of what sort of shit show you found yourselves in.
It's a shit show, alright. But yeah, I do remember. I remember every single day. His name is Malgathar.
For those of you
Can I
who-
roll religion on that?
Yeah. So will Magrim.
I shall not.
At least he had the decency to introduce himself when I called upon him.
They are
why I
sometimes
remember.
polite.
Oh yes,
uh,
incredibly.
Aurora. This name is not familiar to you. That's not to say that you don't feel like you are somewhat studious about devils as you are a cleric. It's more like this name is not known. However, from your religious backgrounds and studies, maybe hearing the voice of your father as he gave you further information, as well as who was your origins teacher?
Bondor.
Yeah. You hear his voice in your ears almost as you sort of like furrow your brow and say like, what the hell kind of name is Malgathar? That makes no sense. You are aware that pseudonyms are a form of lies, and devils love lying.
It's not his actual name.
What? What do you mean it's not his name?
It's a common trick from devils. They'll give a name that they'll respond to, but it's not their actual name. There are circles in magic that say that to have a devil's true name is a source of their power. So Malgathar is likely a lie.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised, actually. I'm probably just disappointed.
What?
This... Well, actually no. I'm not going to scold you, Nessa.
Yes, it's really annoying coming from you.
Oh, shut up, Lokar.
So yes, that is why I go around killing people. It's not for fun. I wish it were, but it's not.
Mike says, "You wish it
I
were."
Yeah, I'm gonna have an exception with that statement.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
In game. Oh.
Magrim will also say, thank you for being brave to tell us like what's going on with you. But what can we do now for you? How can we help?
Prevent her from dying. We'll start with that.
Yeah, that could be
If
a
this
good start, yeah.
if this soul, he still has that soul, so we're just gonna work our way through him, I suppose.
Well, I guess unless you're all willing to come down to the very depths of hell.
I'm not
personally
descending into
retrieve my
Avernus
sister.
anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't really mind.
Well, that was my original plan, but not exactly something I can do alone.
I mean, I'm sure his soul is gonna be more than enough to fulfill the contract, right?
I
It's
suppose.
it's a devil's contract. You have to know every detail about it, every caveat. They make them ironclad so that you can't get out. But there is hope. There's always the bardic tale or two of someone who made a pact with the devil and still won their freedom. I don't know about you, Nisa, but I would love another hopeful bardic song.
Oh yeah, definitely. I am in dire need of a positive reinforcement.
Hardly the only one here with a breath of bad decisions.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about me. I've shared enough. Who's next? And she will sip her water.
Well, Lokar, you or me?
Go ahead. Mine
All
isn't
right.
be as interesting as you think.
Alright, but if you don't have something juicy to say, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well, I want you to stay disappointed, so that's fine.
Ha! I'm nobility. Let's start with that. Believe it or not, my family owns land near Mizvar. A few days away from Gerst, but far enough that basically impossible to travel there. My father is the secondary line, so he is not in line to inherit. We moved here shortly after the war. I was still a child. My father served in the war with distinction. He served in the Reaver bands with distinction. We served King Callus with every right and privilege that we have earned. Gus sucks. He's never been kind to me or my family. My father lives more or less as the pet of one of the ministers of defense. A trophy, more or less. She protects him, and he works diligently as her aide. It would seem that protection does not go to me, however. I joined the Templars to work as a favor to a noble and to my father. Before then, I had mostly been milling about, doing as, well, I'm sure you expect, or have reason to expect what humans do in this godforsaken city. I have a little brother. You mentioned Hero was young. He's likely the same age. Well, 9 now, I believe.
Well, Hero would be older now, but I guess yeah.
And I have a teacher. A Goliath man, Master Vondor. He helped us as a family for several years. One of the barons in the city has long looked at both me and my father as, well, to a certain degree, his own property. A circumstance allowed us to benefit from his favor. In exchange, I've been taught half a dozen languages. Lived a relatively decent life here in Gerst, of all places. I wake up every day and I hear a fucking rooster scream through the window. And then I go beat people up. And when I say beat people up, I go through the warrens, and I find whatever vagrant decides that he wanted to talk shit about King Calic that day, line them up, drag them to the pens, break their wrists, whatever needed to be done for law and order.
Lisa will cough softly under her breath and go, yeah, law.
There was a partner of mine before I was assigned to Alabaster. Bugbear. Name's Kilrug. Shortly after our training initiation was complete, we were sent on a couple of missions. It boiled over, and we went after each other in the barracks. He threw me through a window.
Oh.
I dragged him right down the stairs and busted his nose on a shield. We had to be pulled apart by Captain Blacksteel. And I do mean tore apart. I got some of his skin.
Good.
I was thrown in a cell for a couple of days, at which point Blacksteel had the great idea of assigning me with Alabaster. I worked with him for months. The day that we were to capture you all, I was a bit late. I got the usual rigmarole from Blacksteel for being human and being late, but that's how she always is. She gave some orders to Alabaster, Alabasta told me to keep my wits about me. The rest of the squad, we didn't really know at all, quite honestly. They're from a different division. So we stumbled through the warrens, broke dwarves' legs in half. I believe one of the ogres ate a merchant, but we got where we needed to go.
Well, I do have some questions, if you don't mind.
It's not like I'm hiding anything.
Do you know why you've joined this side of the war? Why you got here?
Why am I here in the pens?
No. Your father, you said he fought on Epsilon's side.
Because it was our honor. All right. Mizvar is a vassal of Epsilon, and so is the barony that my family owns.
No, I mean, clearly you know that what we did is go and
We pillaged
kill a
an
bunch of your
entire
kind.
We pillaged an entire northern kingdom, killed a greedy king who denied the world riches, resources, favor. Nidus was a fool. He deserved to die.
I agree, but I'm sure your father understands how we look upon humans.
And I'm sure you
Exactly.
understand that my family endures despite your prejudice. Honor means nothing without merit. Oaths mean nothing without the will and endurance to maintain them. It is something my family has done time and time again.
Well, it doesn't seem to work out that great for them.
Also, I know that you mentioned your father is kind of a, I don't know, like a personal assistant or secretary to some other higher up here in Gerst, but why isn't your family, if they're so important or powerful, why are they getting you out of here? Why aren't they just pulling you out? They could have you out of here if they wanted to, right?
That's what
I cannot.
Lokar's alluding to, Nisa.
Yeah.
My family is still human. We may be nobility, but we are second-rate nobility.
No, it's even different than that. You might honor your oath and whatnot, but no one else does. Or very few people do. Not enough that it matters. That's exactly why this kind of thinking doesn't work.
It is exactly why this is a corruption of a system that should maintain its laws and traditions, Lokar.
You will never be able to force order to every person on this planet unless you kill them.
Well, you say that. And then King Callus burned a path to liberate us from the oppression of the North, to return order to Epsilon.
And he promised a great deal, a bunch of stuff that I still have to see fulfilled.
It is a
Because I do
great
remember.
endeavor. It is a burden of incalculable weight.
Yes, but it's been so many years, though. It's been so long.
Then I will take up the burden and do what needs to be done. as should every member of Epsilon, every soul that lives here. We must aspire to the dream that Callus gave us. Or else his conquest means nothing. Our station, our oaths, our lives remain meaningless. We must aspire to the greatness that we desire.
Do you seriously believe that Callus still cares about us up there? While on his, I don't know, ivory throne or whatever?
Callus is still a mortal. His ability is great, his wisdom immense. But even a king only can reach so far. We must come to him. We must show him that we are worthy of his embrace.
Oh, I don't want that. I don't want nobody embracing me.
I say that metaphorically, Nisa.
I know, but when you mentioned embracing, I just pictured that old ballsack of a man embracing me, and I just... And she shivers.
I serve King Callus.
We
I
haven't
don't
seen
know if Calic serves him. I'll say that.
Have you ever met Callus in your life?
I have not, no. My father did.
Obviously. Well, I think arguing with you doesn't make much sense, though. I'm not gonna push it too far. I guess all I can say is that I find it a little bit sad that all your life is about is following a man you have never seen.
Follow a dream, an ideal,
Well,
a hope. If Callus, for whatever reason, cannot come back and grant the promises that he gave us, to all of us in Epsilon, then someone will. And it's not someone else. It's not a desire to be relieved from these shackles of suffering. If necessary, that someone will be me. And I will drag a kingdom to Callus's feet in the very dream that he promised us.
You would do all of that just to hold him accountable for what he promised?
We should all do that.
I don't think so. But again, I think we're thinking differently. I'm not sure if there's even anything we can do, or if it's even realistically, or if it even makes sense to try to always go for the impossible instead of just doing what's best for yourself and staying alive.
What's
At the
best
end,
for
you know,
myself doesn't end the suffering of our country, Luca.
Yeah, I know. You can do it. You know, you can do it. Keep at it. Whatever.
The flame of hope is a fickle thing. It's easy to crush. It's easy to think only for yourself, that the world itself is an immovable mountain that cannot be climbed, it cannot be pushed. But every mountain erodes, be it by the wind, the rain, or by a person walking up to its peak with a shovel. It is long, it is difficult, but it can be done. We nearly only need to see what Callus has done to acknowledge that there is the potential to end the suffering of the world if we merely grab evil by its throat.
I was rubbing his
What
temple
is-
as you're going on that talk.
Yeah. What is evil to you, Aurora? I really want to know.
Chaos. Disorder. Pain.
Is-
Suffering. Wastefulness. Idleness. All
I
these
mean,
things. and more.
I see where you're coming from, but isn't the fact that they're doing this to Melanda, and I point to her with I gesture towards Melanda with my hand. Isn't this evil? The very people that you, I don't know, you follow, you praise, are doing this to her. They're torturing her and intentionally maybe keeping her alive to torture her some more.
They are a cancer at the heart that must be excised.
Right.
I mean, I haven't said my word about Oda. I think it's gonna be working as you think about it, but I guess that's in the stars anyway, so there's no really need to talk about it.
Yeah. I just can't say anything about order because I don't believe in it. So
Nisa, if there was a better place here in Gerst, I have little doubt that you would be an ideal citizen. It is the wretchedness, the corruption of this place that has set you on your path. Little more.
do you believe so?
Isn't she like killing a bunch of people to get their souls?
And if there was no sickness in the Warrens, there was no constant threat of one's survival, no inability to seek proper medical help, would she have ever sold her soul to a pact devil?
Maybe not, but like, some part
If we
of
did-
Oda having to make sure that nothing like that can ever happen.
If we
Yeah,
did
so
not
you're
have
saying
to
this is Calic's
march,
fault.
if we had to march north, never had to, and kill Nidus and claim the resources of Upsilon, would Epsilon be such a terrible fucking place if they had ever shared?
Certainly not.
Yeah,
I
and
mean-
the thing is, it's interesting because apparently we won the war. Things should be better for us. Why aren't they? Makes you wonder.
I'll be the last one that's gonna hate on Callus necessarily. I thought alongside him, looser shape or form. But I have come to the conclusion that I think that his dream is as impossible as Aurora's, and that's why nothing has happened so far. Because if it is real, he had all the power in this fucking continent. Any living being on anywhere. Well, I guess the elves might. Well, I think they can feel his influence even still. And yet, I mean, his dream is impossible with what we have. Otherwise, he would have done it by now.
Did you fight in the war, Lokar?
Certainly. I did, yeah. Kind of. I mean, I've grown up to all this unrest. Basically, my entire childhood. I wanted to do something about it. Get into the world, and I mean, Alex Dream at that time. I mean, it was beautiful. It still is. Don't get me wrong. And well, a bunch of, I mean, a bunch of my tribe, like almost everyone that felt up to the challenge wanted to get involved. I mean, as a Goliath, it's all about like surviving and fighting and competition. Kind of drive us to, try out. So yeah, I fought in the war for a while,
And
almost all of it.
how did you end up back in Ghost?
Well, that's a complicated question.
Then it was the right question.
Certainly was. I had to, he seems to have trouble getting it out for some reason. I had to leave the war effort. I had a bit of a tough time, putting it lightly, various reasons. And I couldn't quite be normal anymore, I suppose. It's a weird dissonance when you go back to your day-to-day life, but so different somehow, and feel right, and it
So
isn't really
you were
fun for anyone
having-
around.
you were having trouble maybe adjusting back to the civilian life?
It did.
Spicy memories. And she just goes, I just don't like calling it PTSD.
It's a lot more than that, unfortunately. Well, anyway, I went out to figure out how to deal with that, you know? Lots of things troubling me. A lot of problem with controlling myself, and I ended up getting lucky, I suppose. I found some help, which is why I meditate nowadays.
Oh,
It helped me a lot, and well, it looks over to Aurora. I guess now that I know your story, I don't mind sharing. I mean, Melanda, I mean, obviously you kind of thought of her as part of an organization. And the Veiled Alliance, and I ended up through various ways ended up being able to got in contact with them. I mean, I'm not necessarily about their stuff, really. Well, I kind of don't know what I'm about, really. But the reason why I got here is because I heard she was part of it and she was working in Ghost, so she's part of an old squad, I'd say. known her for a while now, and I know she could help me with figuring out what I needed to figure out. And honestly, I guess I kind of wanted to see her again, also. So, I haven't seen anyone really from the war efforts ever since I left. So, yeah, that's how I got back into Gerst, and why I stupidly fought against a bunch of Templars trying to take her away.
Yeah, I kind of suspected that.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
we're good
thank
at our
you
job.
for not being cagey.
I
So you
Go ahead.
you had a squad before. What happened to them?
Yeah, I was quite young when I wanted to join the war effort. There were a bunch of other people. Everyone was rising to the occasion, and those that were the most promising were given a squad. Kind of the rookies, the best rookies doing their thing in the battlefield. And well, the idea was kind of we just gonna prove ourselves, and if we're already quite promising, we're gonna rise the ranks. And I mean, that happened for most of the squad. Um, I mean, for Melanda, really, she started as kind of be more like a tactician for the squad, but she moved on like to more like infiltration stuff, and kind of more rare and rare came by the squad. And yeah, some of us stayed in the squad. I don't really know why. Well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Doesn't really matter. We continued on doing our job until we were given a different mission than normally, or urgent. It was kind
A
of
different
weird.
mission.
Yeah, well, we got like all the way up to Merlington. It was kind of like war was almost over. I mean, the big defenses were already been put up and kind of taken over, and it was only a matter of time. So we're kind of surprised that we kind of had to go off road.
Hmm.
And well, I can't say there's much more that I remember.
You don't remember anything at all?
You can see that he just. I think in general with people that have this kind of thing, you can see he struggled a lot trying to put these things into words. These moments, it is deeply problematic for him, but kind of bites his lip. I remember some things vaguely. I know we went in some sort of crypt, and he kind of dies. That's what I was thinking about when we had this stupid prophecy. Also talked about a crypt. I'm pretty sure the rest of my squad is dead.
Sorry to hear that.
And you see like this voice cracks a bit, like this, like a thing in his throat. I think they were. I don't think they deserved it, and I don't know what happened. But well,
He's oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that Anissa just wordlessly reaches over and gives Loka's hand a little squeeze.
I think Aurora will just silently like hand him his water.
I don't know what the fuck happened. And it's just one of the 1,000 things just drilled into my mind. And my mentor, the one I've learned to meditate and control myself, he realized that if I don't know what happened, I can't work myself out of it. It is both in my head and not in my head at the same time. And
You're
so
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for. And hopefully bring this shit show to rest. Finally.
The truth about a battle 20 years ago. Can't say I envy you.
Yeah, I cannot imagine what that's like. But, well, if it's if it's any consolation, and I know it's probably very little, but you have us now.
Unfortunately.
And Kark, wherever he is.
And Carrick, sure.
Well, I'm not sure I'm happy about it. I can't say I wanted to be in the squad again. Don't have that best of memories of that.
You'll
Because
figure
in real life, people that fight for something, they die, usually.
Now I understand why you have so many issues with my oaths.
Certainly.
You'll forgive me for this. I'm not particularly a good cleric, but there are teachings of Ilmater that say that the longer we hold burdens by ourselves, the more our bodies will fail us. So, at the very least, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. We can help you share the burden. So that ill matter doesn't beat our asses.
He doesn't do that, Nasa.
Oh.
Lokar, as you are surrounded with people that seem to be bounding with you, can you make me a wisdom check?
Wisdom check, I shall do. It's 14.
It's mostly Aurora's words at this point that ring true. At least as a message. And that feeling of camaraderie that you have been missing for 20 years or so, it starts to feel like a connection to you. As if the thing that you've been missing, the thing that to get you through what you went through, was the very thing that you lost. And that feeling of breakthrough, the potential for breakthrough, feels even more so purely because these people around you seem to care about you. Rather than looking at you as something of a case study or a baby bird with a broken wing to be fixed. You look around this haggard tent in the slave pens of Gerst and take a look down at Melanda, who's lying there weakly. And if you recognize that maybe you were wrong, maybe the thing that you were running from is the thing that you needed. And as you ponder upon these thoughts, we need to end the session for tonight.